You are watching TalkBack with Lieutenant General Asad Durrani, General, Afghanistan. Evidently your area of interest and your area of expertise. Has Pakistan's Afghan policy failed? And were you a part of that failure?
Pakistan's Afghan policy succeeded till the Soviets were withdrawn. When the Soviets went back, after that, we've suffered a number of setbacks. It became more complex, bringing the Afghans together on a single platform, reunifying the country. So many problems, so many external and internal actors, and there we fell short.
Considering you were involved in the changing strategy from Jalalabad to Khost, when the gears changed, when you brought out this strategy in the safe houses of Peshawar, according to our records, how do you feel about that?
Jalalabad was a failure, but we learned from that. Not because Jalalabad was someone else's, but I suppose this was the first time the Mujahideen were involved in pitched battles, quasi-regular warfare, and that is something that they were not used to. So that is why it failed. In Khost, by Khost, we had learned a few things, so we could do it a little better.
General, considering, let's take a backseat to this, considering that Afghanistan is happening, Kashmir is happening, and considering what Pakistan's policies were and what Pakistan's policies are, considering that Pakistan has retreated from a lot of its positions, it's taken a lot of U-turns, it's presented some 4 points, it's backed down from a lot of issues. Has the ISI's policies in Afghanistan and in Kashmir, have the policies failed?
Not the ISI's policies. I do
but
not
General,
know.
With all due respect, General,
I do not
the
know
ISI was making those policies.
I do not know what the ISI's policies presently were when the U-turn took place. All that I can tell you is that the policies are made by the government.
But when you were around, General, Afghanistan was in full swing, as was Kashmir. The whole Bleeding India policy was in full swing, as well as the whole strategic depth policy. How do you feel about that? You were involved in something, you were involved in the beginning of something, which is today ended in complete failure. In the nascent stages.
We are going to wait for a long time before we find out what ended in a failure and what did not. And I've already said that so many mistakes have been made. But just remember one thing. There is no way that any problem of the magnitude of Afghanistan or Kashmir would ever be resolved unless you have improved your bargaining position, unless you have brought a situation to that pass where the sides are then prepared to negotiate, to talk about it, because otherwise it doesn't happen. So leaving aside the ISI policy on the side, because the ISI policies are not likely to be known, and I'm not going to talk about them, but the government policy made eminent sense, and that is that you create a situation where people are forced to talk, and it is not the only pillar that takes place. Nuclearization, for example, brought us to a stage where India and Pakistan could talk to each other, and I'm a great supporter of that peace process that took place. Because ultimately, whatever you do, economically, militarily, diplomatically, psychologically, the aim is that one day we are prepared to talk to each other and find a solution.
But General, what about Kargil? And what about the people who are opposed to it? Who you have gone on national television, and you did this on ARY1 on the 20th of August in 2003. And you said those who didn't agree with Pakistan's jihadist policies, and you know what I'm about to say, General, you told people to lump it. Those who disagreed with Pakistan's jihadist policies, this was a quote from you, could lump it. Now, we all know what lump it means, General, but what's more disturbing is to find out that this is coming from a former DG of the ISI, coming from background of a policy which has today failed, which is today not given us anything.
No, it has not failed. Now, that is the point. Of course, I am all for people resisting. If jihadist policies become a bad word, that let me say people resist. If people have grievances, if their lands are occupied, they have a right to resist.
Do you think Pakistan has a right to export jihad?
Oh, Pakistan has a right to support those people who are struggling for their freedom, especially those people.
What about exporting jihad, General? Via the ISI, via the training camps, via everything, you will not talk about
this terminology is not going to put me off, exporting jihad. I said Pakistan has the right. Arundhati Roy, the famous peacenik. After 4 or 5 years, she says that she will never get involved in militarism, but if people were to resist who are being oppressed, she would understand that. General Rose, the British commander in Bosnia, only the other day said when people are under occupation, they have a right to resist. Afghans resisted and succeeded. We applauded. Algerians, we applauded. I think here, right here, when it happens next door and people become uncomfortable because Khalistan is up in fire or Kashmir, something is happening, or Afghanistan is troubling us, at that time we suddenly say, oh, jihadist policies. How can we live with that? This is militarism. This is terrorism. For heaven's sake, consider that people who are being oppressed and no one else can do anything for them, they will resist. Especially during the last 30, 40 years, we have seen resistance movement succeeding. When the whole OIC fails to do anything for the Palestinians or for the Lebanese, Hezbollah does something which no one else could do. When the entire world, United Nations, Europe, everyone fails to check United States from steamrolling or from attacking Iraq, these are these jihadists, these resistors who put a break on the sole superpower.
You just said a little while ago, you just said that Pakistan just applauded these jihadists. Is that all we've done?
I'm saying that we have a right to support them in whatever way we can. In Afghanistan, for example.
So what does whatever way we can mean, General? Does it mean everything? Does it mean calling them here, training them here on our soil, sending them back?
It means
does
exactly
it mean
what I
involving
said.
other powers, getting petrodollars from Saudi Arabia? Is that what it means?
It means exactly what I said, that whatever you can within your possibilities, if you can give moral support only, give moral support. If there is something more like in Afghanistan, we train them.
So you are all for jihadist policies?
I am for giving help to those people who are fighting against occupation, against repression.
You're not answering the question, General.
I am because you are asking the wrong question. I am, jihadist policy has not been defined. I am for jihad.
How do you define it, General?
I will say jihadist policy is the wrong word. I am for jihad. Jihad is fought on a number of fronts, which also includes a particular element of resistance with arms. So when it comes to that, people will fight.
But whatever you want to call it, General, those policies formulated by, as you say, the government, and as we think, the ISI, allegedly the ISI, those policies today, General, have not brought us anywhere. Those policies
those policies liberated Afghanistan from the Soviet occupation. Those policies have helped us reach an understanding with India how to move forward on the peace process.
Thank you for your thoughts, General, and thank you for keeping on watching. You are watching Talk Back with Lieutenant General Asad Durrani. We will be right back.